What's up, y'all? I hope you guys are having a good day. I have been having a good week. Got a phone upgrade. James Harden made his debut. The Sixers are now 3-0 at the time of this recording. Hopefully I get this video uploaded before the Cavaliers game on Friday night or tonight, whenever you hear this video. Hope I get this video up, but I'm going to be doing some amateur film breakdown of what I have seen so far from the James Harden and Joel Embiid duo. We're going to be breaking down the two-man game between them, the already working two-man game between those two, and how their gravity has been very beneficial for their teammates. There's been a lot of talk about how the Harden and Embiid two-man game would look. Do they fit? Well, some people were questioning the fit. I don't know how. They're two great players. They were going to fit. But anyway, it's already looking like the two-man game is scratching the surface, at least, of just how good they can be. And they have already been really fucking good. So, without further ado, step into the film room with me as I try to do my very first amateur film breakdown video on this channel. Hope you guys enjoy it. Alright, so the first few clips I'm going to show here are the first few possessions of the Timberwolves game that happened on Friday when Harden made his debut. And these first few clips are going to illustrate just how brand new this is for everybody on the Sixers roster and how they haven't really played with a player like James Harden. So we roll the clip here. This is going to be a simple Joel Embiid post-up. It's a double team, so Embiid's going to kick it right back out to Harden, and it's going to set right into a pick and roll. They send two, but D'Angelo Russell looks like he maybe wants to stay with Harden, kind of maybe doesn't really switch at all, and lets Embiid roam to the middle of the floor. Now, Harden is going to swing the ball over immediately to Tobias Harris, and as the ball's mid-flight, look at all this open area that Embiid is able to just walk and meander to. He has probably never been this wide open when cutting to the middle in his career, and that was one of the first things I immediately noticed when this possession happened. But Tobias Harris really isn't the most creative or adept passer. He likes to survey before he makes his decision, and that's something Doc Rivers has been harping on, is for Tobias to make quick decisions, but he's just not that type of player. It's too deep into his career to even expect that type of change. So Tobias doesn't really see Embiid here, and also Tobias isn't really used to Embiid cutting and being this wide open in the middle of the paint. So Tobias catches it and goes and tries to make a contested little runner. And obviously he misses, and they fight for the rebound. It's out of bounds. It's Philadelphia ball. Here in semi-transition, another example of just everybody getting used to each other. Maxey in semi-transition dribbles at baseline, kicks it right back out to Harden. They're going to run the same play again. It's going to be a Harden and Embiid pick and roll to the middle. This time, instead of having Tobias here on the left wing, Matisse Thybulle is going to cut up. He's going to cut up to the left wing, and this is probably the better player to have here for this type of play because Matisse is actually a decent passer and can make solid reads. You see they send two to Harden already off the screen. Harden darts it to Matisse. Matisse waits because he knows that Joel Embiid is going to be moving into all of this open space. Look at where these two defenders are, Pat Bev and Cat, relative to Harden and Embiid. Matisse waits. He even directs Embiid to move into the open space, finds Embiid, and when he catches this ball midair, the only thing standing between him and the basket is Anthony Edwards. And part of this bobble on Embiid here is going to be a turnover when he goes up. Look at the space. Embiid has never caught the ball cutting to the rim like this probably in his entire career and has been this wide open. Embiid bobbles it as he goes up. It's a turnover. Timberwolves ball. Here again is going to be another Harden and Embiid pick and roll to the middle of the floor. And this play right here, I'm going to harp on Tobias Harris because his role and his mentality in his new role is going to need to change. He is pretty much the fourth option now behind Tyrese Maxey, and I will explain that a little later. And Tobias is going to have to take a bunch of wide open threes without hesitation, without pump faking and then driving or hesitating. No hesitancy. He's going to have to take this. But as you can see, Harden sets the screen, or as you can see, Embiid sets the screen for Harden. Harden immediately makes the read and passes it to Tyrese Maxey. First of all, look at where all of the Timberwolves' eyes are. They are directed right at this action right here. They are focused squarely on what Harden and Embiid are doing. And that's just going to leave these two open. So Harden passes it to Maxey. It could be a three right here for Maxey, but Maxey knows that the three-pointer in the corner is the easier shot. He passes it to Tobias. Tobias should let this fire right now. Cat is like 4 feet away from him, 4 or 5 feet away from him. Tobias hesitates. He pump fakes, and then he dribbles into nothingness. He's stuck. Then he kicks it back out to Maxey, and they have to reset. I'm going to rewind it again and emphasize that as Tobias catches this, it's in the shooting pocket. Cat is 5 feet away from Tobias. This should be a corner three. Doesn't matter, make or miss. All we are asking for Tobias is to take this shot. But he doesn't. Dribbles into nothingness. Maxey gets the ball up at the top to reset. Embiid sets the screen for Maxey, and Maxey bails out the possession with a 15-foot mid-ranger. Now, obviously, you don't want that, but it is a luxury now for the Sixers. Now they have two guards that can do something and make something out of nothing off the dribble, and Maxey bails out the possession. So here's where the fun stuff begins. This is where the Embiid and Harden pick and roll really starts to gain traction, and the traction that you will see for the next 2 games after this. So Embiid sets the screen for Harden. As you can see, Furk is in one corner, Furkan Korkmaz is in one corner, Tobias and Danny are on the other side. They send 2 to the ball. Cat plays at the level. Anthony Edwards hangs back. They send 2 to the ball. Embiid is once again rolling down the middle, and Harden waits and then fires at the big target. Joel Embiid is 7'2", 270 pounds. That is a big target, but really the Sixers haven't had a passer to make this kind of read off of a pick and roll. Not Ben Simmons, because again, Ben Simmons can't really score off the dribble, and so he can't even create passing windows off of his scoring, but Harden can, and Harden finds Embiid immediately down the middle, and by the time Embiid catches that ball, you got poor little old D'Angelo Russell here being the only defense between Embiid and the rim. Unfortunately, he's too little. Embiid rises up and 1 foul bucket. We're going to rewind the clip again. After Embiid sets the screen, Anthony Edwards kind of holds on to him a little bit to kind of slow the roll down, but it doesn't really work. Ant has to go back out to James Harden, who earlier in the quarter hit a step back 3. So his scoring off the dribble's a threat. Harden manipulates the window. Cat is trying to recover, but it's too late. Harden throws a dart right over Cat, and Embiid catches it. Easy finish and 1. One of the easiest baskets I have seen Embiid get in his career. Here is one of the other ones where a pick and roll works, and the Knicks defended differently. Obviously, they've been struggling on defense this year after being pretty good last year, even though some of it was 3-point luck. But Embiid sets the screen on Evan Fournier. Fournier gets hung up on this screen, leaving Mitchell Robinson kind of out on an island to play 1-on-2. Robinson plays Harden. Harden keeps dribbling down to hold Robinson. Fournier is a little too late to recover, leaves this pocket for Harden to just whip a bounce pass. Embiid might not be a Clint Capella type of lob threat, or, he might not be fast when it comes to rolling to the basket, but Embiid, once again, is 7'2", 270 pounds. If he catches the ball anywhere in the painted area, it's death for the defense, because it's either going to be a bucket or a foul, and in this case, it's both. Harden hits Embiid on the pocket pass, and it's an easy basket. You see they're already celebrating, already forming a chemistry. Here, once again, later in the quarter, Embiid sets the screen for Harden, and Julius Randle, in a drop coverage, plays it back. RJ Barrett gets hung up on the screen, and Embiid, he's going to have to learn how to set better screens because, again, he's never played with a guard like Harden. And this is the funny part about the Embiid pick and roll criticism, which I never really understood. No, Embiid's game really isn't rolling, but I think that's been overblown because we saw the pick and roll chemistry that Embiid had with Jimmy Butler when Jimmy Butler was in Philadelphia. Only James Harden is a better scorer off the dribble, a better ball handler in the pick and roll, a better decision maker in the pick and roll. Even though Butler is great in his own right, we forget about the chemistry Embiid and Butler developed while Butler was in Philly. He was able to play pick and roll and pick and pop just fine. It's just Embiid has never played with a guard who can be so dynamic off the dribble like Harden. So earlier in the quarter, the Knicks allowed Embiid to get an and one off of an Embiid Harden pick and roll. Here again, Randle plays in drop coverage. RJ Barrett's trailing behind on the screen because he got hung up by Embiid. And so they're still making a decision. The pocket pass is still available, and Harden decides, nope, I'm going to take it to the basket. Just easy money for two of the most dynamic players in the game, right? Here, going back to the Timberwolves game, Jaden McDaniels, the Timberwolves' best defender, especially in this lineup that they have, is going to defend James Harden. Danny Green sets the screen, and Russell automatically switches onto Harden. So Harden already has a weaker defender on him. And yes, I know Timberwolves fans, D'Angelo Russell has been better on that end this year, but you do not want him checking James Harden, right? So Embiid now directs traffic, orders Danny Green to go to the corner. He sets the screen for Harden. Harden, this time, is going to attack the switch. You see how much time is left on the shot clock here. Cat switches onto Harden, which is what you want, and Harden takes a step back. Money. So Harden and Embiid can both benefit from each other running this two-man game. Harden can get easier shots than he's ever had in his career, probably. And Embiid, as I showed you in some of the earlier clips, has some of the easiest baskets of his career. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that. I have watched Embiid since Kansas, and obviously he's on my favorite team now. I have probably watched 95% of the minutes Embiid has played in his career, going from college to the NBA. These are some of the easiest baskets in these three games that he's ever had in his career. And you can see at the end there, Embiid was kind of cheesing, but the video cuts off there. Now, when you got the step back element in the pick and roll game happening, this is where it gets really fun, and this is where Harden and Embiid really start to explore how much they can manipulate a defense. This is the third game on Wednesday against the Knicks. They're back in Philly this time for Harden's home debut. Joel Embiid sets the screen here on RJ Barrett. This time Barrett is hung up on the Embiid screen and goes with Embiid towards the basket. Mitchell Robinson stays with Embiid as well to help out. But look at all the space James Harden has. He's about to fire a step back three, or at least that's what Mitchell Robinson thinks. He darts back to the perimeter, and it looks like Harden's going to shoot right, but at the last second, knows Robinson and Barrett are up, and Embiid is alone. Look at the space Embiid has once again by the rim, and Harden finds him. Randle fouls him immediately, and Embiid makes the circus shot and one. This is just easy stuff for Joel Embiid and James Harden now. And this is where the pick and roll gets really fun. They have already gained chemistry with each other, and it's barely even been 3 games, and it's only going to get better. Because not only do you have 2 dynamic offensive players, you have 2 players that have very high basketball IQs and are savants at what they do. So that's just going to make for sweet music. Then we get to the other element of the pick and roll, pick and pop game, the pop, Embiid's jumper. We all know Embiid has improved, especially as a mid-range shooter over the last 2 seasons. The last 2 years, he has also improved from 3, shooting over 37% from 3 over these last 2 seasons. And that's just another weapon for Harden to utilize in this tango that these two are going to explore with each other as hopefully the years go on. Especially, well, definitely next season, because Harden confirmed he's going to opt into his player option. So he'll be in Philadelphia next season for sure. It's just going to give them more time to explore each other. So here again is earlier in the second quarter of the Wolves game. We're going to have Embiid set a screen on Patrick Beverley. They already have 2 on the ball already. This is just going to be an easy pocket pass. And this particular clip, it's another one of those plays where Embiid, I think, just can't believe he is that wide open in his sweet spot, which is the middle of the floor. The left side of the block is also his sweet spot, but the Sixers love using Embiid in the middle of the key, especially because he's improved as a mid-range shooter and has improved as a playmaker. So this is going to be an easy pocket pass for Harden. This shot should go up, but I think Embiid just can't believe he is this wide open. And so he pump fakes. He could still shoot this and be relatively fine, but he pump fakes, gets Naz Reid to bite. Should be an easier jumper, but Embiid pump fakes again. I just think Embiid had no idea what to do in this situation because he's never been that wide open before. And this was one of the first possessions. Again, this was some of the early possessions where Embiid started screening for Harden, and they're just getting used to each other. But he pump fakes and kind of flubs the short roll and fires an off-target pass to Tyrese Maxey, who fires a semi-contested 3. And then you can see in this very next possession, Embiid rectified it. They run another pick and pop. It's going to be McDaniels trailing over the top of the screen here. Cat is going to be in another drop coverage. And Harden hits Embiid with another pocket pass. This time, no hesitation. Easy foul line jumper. Money. And this is where, the skills of Embiid popping, this is where it's going to shine the most. When Embiid usually got his shots in the middle of the floor here, it was usually off self-creation, or he would have to post up, then face up, or post up right here at the foul line, then face up. Here, now with Harden on the team, Embiid has somebody that can deliver him the ball so he can get into his bag at the elbow and mid-range area. So you see Tobias kind of doesn't really set the screen. He moves and cuts towards the baseline. Embiid is going to set the screen on Harden, and Harden's going to hit Embiid with another pocket pass. And maybe Embiid just didn't feel like he was in rhythm. Again, he's never played with a pick and roll partner like Harden, so maybe he didn't feel like he had the proper rhythm to just fire it off immediately. So he goes into his little jab step that he likes to do to get himself comfortable. Shoots the mid-ranger. Easy. And then this is where the three-point element comes in. Embiid sets another screen on Jaden McDaniels, and this is just easy money for Harden. There's 5 seconds left on the shot clock. There's some easy offense they can get into at the last second because they can always just go to their 2 nuclear weapons. Harden hits Embiid for a deep 3. Just easy stuff that Embiid has never had in his career, because now his co-star, his peer on the team, is somebody who is a threat to score off the dribble, manipulate his scoring prowess with his passing. In addition to Harden already being a genius level passer, I think He's a way better passer than Simmons. I don't even think it's a debate, honestly. Simmons is a great passer in his own right, but Harden is in a different class of passer. The LeBron, the Luka, the Chris Pauls of the world. People love to, hate on Harden and his foul grifting and only thinking that Harden is a scorer. But Harden's led the league in assists before. He's a genius level passer, and it's permeated across this team, which is great to see. And by the way, I'm not even mentioning the fact that Embiid has a new way to draw fouls now. Easier, because he's going to be rumbling towards the rim, and there's nothing you can do but to foul him, or it's going to be a bucket. So here Embiid sets another screen. Harden, once again, hits Embiid with another pocket pass. Harden's just so good at these pocket passes, and you can already see 3 defenders are in the area. Embiid has a full head of steam on the catch going towards the basket. Foul. 2 free throws. And with Harden and Embiid drawing fouls, it's just going to be a bitch for teams to play. The games are going to be 2.5 hours long, and I can't wait to blindly defend all the free throws that these two are going to get, because I just know the internet's going to cry about it. So here we go with another pick and roll here. Harden hits Embiid with a nice pass. You already see Cam Reddish and Julius Randle here. Foul. You can't stop that. You just can't stop that. It's going to happen again here. Embiid gives it right back to Harden. They run the pick and roll 2-man game. Pocket pass once again by Harden. Foul. The pick and roll between Embiid and Harden is going to be so nasty, especially as they develop more of a rapport with each other, which is the scary part, because in these clips, it looks like they've played together forever. It's just going to be a bitch for defenses to defend, and I feel bad for whoever has to guard this, because it's either going to be a James Harden step back 3, a James Harden drive to the basket, a Joel Embiid rolling to the rim, a Joel Embiid pop out for a mid-ranger, or a pop out for a Joel Embiid 3. There's just so many ways that this offense can go revolving around this 2-man game. And the Sixers have already involved Harden in some of their pet sets that they just love to run.